Welcome back to another episode of Power of the Baldie. We've been vibing, we've been chilling, we've been connecting with you guys. So thank you so much for commenting, sharing, liking, and connecting with this podcast. I told you guys this podcast is going to be revolutionary. It's going to change the podcast game because I truly believe that there is power in appearance. There is power in the way you feel. There is power in the way you portray yourself. And you're going to realize that as we get further along in the journey. We have lined up some amazing guests, all shapes, sizes, and walks of life. When you come to this podcast, you're going to get a little bit something different. You're going to get a more family feel. You're going to perspective on business, on life, on fitness, on what makes a person tick. And the most important thing I want you guys to feel is like this podcast is yours. What I mean by that, you're going to always be able to contact and be a part of my community, be a part of my family. So I'm super, super grateful for it. I thought there would be no better way than to kick off this season, this episode, this journey than going deep into my history, deep into my life. Because a bald head to me means a lot. It just doesn't signify a haircut. It doesn't signify age. It signifies, for me, struggle. It signifies for me triumph. It signifies for me adversity. It signifies to me winning at all costs. A lot of you guys might look at me and think that my life was easy. My life was an overnight success. But that success took years on top of years to become an overnight success. What in the world do I mean by that? You know, being a Jamaican immigrant, I was taught to put my head down, work hard, and overcome. And a lot of times, as a black male in this world, in this society, that's not an easy task, right? And the world has changed, and the world is changing. So things are always going to be constantly moving in motion and in limbo. But as a young man growing up, things were never given to me. I had to go out there and work hard for it, and I appreciated that. I got stories on top of stories on top of stories. You know, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a very diverse, mixed community, right? The neighborhood that I grew up in was a tougher neighborhood. Harrison Avenue in the north side of Freeport, living by the train tracks. I was forced to grow up fast. I was the youngest kid in my household. I had a super, super talented brother who was an athlete who who got into who got into trouble as a kid. But the thing that I remember the most was that this was my biggest role model. This was my idol. You know, I didn't look at sports figures and held them on such a high mantle. I was able to look at my brother in that aspect. And even though he did things that I don't agree with, and he did things that got my parents pissed off and got into a little bit of trouble, a lot of bit of trouble, he always was like a father figure to me. And I did have my father growing up as well. But he was like a father figure to me, meaning anything that he done that he wasn't proud of, he'll kind of steer me away from it. And my brother was a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism. If you ask anybody who would be the professional athlete, it was by hands down, it would have been hand picked. Some way, somehow, the universe works in mysterious ways. But he was always a motivation to me. You know, he drove me more than he ever know, and he done things for me in my life that he'll never be able to understand the impact that he had on my life. But my life was far from easy. I remember specific details like a Payless shoe store. There's a Payless shoe store that actually closed down in my neighborhood. And this Payless, when it closed, I felt like a part of my childhood died. What do I mean by that? When I was a kid growing up, my parents were Jamaican immigrants, and they did not believe in paying for a significant amount of money for sneakers, for material things. They valued education, they valued hard work, they valued sports, but they did not put a materialistic value on sneakers. So when Jordans and all these nice name brands came out, that wasn't even in my vocabulary. My mom took me to Payless, and I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed that I became the Payless shoes expert. I literally, what I mean by that, I was able to pick out the Payless shoes, the Payless sneakers that looked the closest to a Nike replicate. I made sure it had no logos that was visible to the naked eye. I made sure that when I picked out my sneakers, their logo, the AF. If anybody who shopped at Payless knows what the AF stand for, Attack Force. So literally, I got the AF on the tip of the brim of that sneaker just so I could put my jeans over it. Whenever it was hot out and we wore shorts, I was so embarrassed, hoping that nobody discovered that my Nike cross trainers, quote unquote, was Attack Force from Payless. So that little story speaks volumes for me, because it taught me how to think outside of the box. It taught me how to not worship material things, and that kind of stuck with me forever. To this day, I don't worship material things. Simple for me is better. Being a bald man, being a black bald man in America, simple is better. I think that a bald head is cleaner. I think that a bald head signifies power. And it's those little lessons that I was taught without a learning plan, right? Without that being a lesson that people thought maybe would have taught a lesson, I was able to decipher it, and it was significant for me. So when that Payless shoe store closed, I literally felt like a part of my childhood closed along with it. I say that to say this: we have to stop valuing material things in this world more than like the personal aspect of it. What I mean by the personal aspect, more than relationships, more than people, more than family, more than friendship. We put such a high value on all these labels and brands that I think that we're cutting ourselves short. We're cutting ourselves short. So I truly hope that story will stick with you a little bit. And honestly, maybe I'll name this episode, Pay Less or Pay More, or something of that nature. I want you to comment. I want you to comment in the comment below. What would you describe this episode as? What would you name this episode? Because I truly believe that when you pay less, you pour more. Ooh, that might be the episode of the title. That might be the title of the episode. Pay less, pour more. What do I mean by that, right? This story is powerful. Pay less, pour more. Pay less attention to those material things in life and pour more into those important things: family, friendships, relationships. Pour into those cups and stop pouring into those material things like cars, those clothes, those shoes, those bags. Pour more energy, time, and effort into the things that truly matters in life: relationships, family, friends. Because when it's time for us to go, and none of us knows when that time is going to be. It can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be 5 minutes from now, it can be whenever. We never know when our time has come. We're not going to be able to take those material things with us. I forgot exactly who it was that said when they sat on the deathbed of prominent people, homeless people, individuals that didn't have a great life, individuals that had a great life, everybody had a common denominator when they said, "What would you wish your last moments on this planet to be?" Everybody wanted to be spent with somebody that they loved and cared about. No one asked to be with their material thing. Nobody said, "Bring me my trophies. Bring me my Jordans. Bring me my sneakers. Bring me my Lambo." People wanted to bring their loved ones and people that they shared a bond with, to have those last moments. So I say this to say that. I say that to say this, whatever that saying may be. Pay less attention to those material things in life and pour more into the things that truly matters in your life and your happiness. And that does not have to be the same for everybody. You have to designate what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and pour more into that and pay less attention to the negative things in the world, the material things in the world, the things that really don't matter, and pour more of you, your energy, your time, your passion into what makes you tick. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing this time with me. This is the beginning. This is just the beginning. So I need you to let me know what you guys want to see, feel, talk about more. Maybe give me guests that you want on here. I have 3 amazing guests already booked, already lined up. We're going to be recording today, tomorrow, and the day after. And you're going to have episodes in the library. I might have early releases, early premieres, but it's going to be powerful. Some of these people you're very, very familiar with. Some of these people are up-and-coming superstars. Some of these people are just so dynamic, and their story is powerful. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share with you. A lot of these people are going to come in studios. We have a studio being built. I'm telling you guys are here early in the journey, and it's going to explode. And I'm so excited to have you along for the ride. So my day ones, you are my day ones. You guys are contributing to this dynamic, powerful, successful vehicle to help you achieve the right mindset to dominate and uplift your life. So that's why we're here. We're going to talk about some cool topics in the near future. And a couple of our guests that's lined up. I'm really excited. You guys might know Mark. You guys might know Herbie. You might know Dana. You might know some of the people that are coming up with Baldhead, that which signifies power, which signifies presence. What their story is very, very powerful. So, with further ado, I want you to say thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for sharing time with me. If you guys got this far, I appreciate you. Do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button with some of your friends so we can build up a community of greatness, a community of people with a positive mindset that want to see each other do well and flourish and want to pour more into something passionate and with purpose, and pay less attention to the negativity and the material things that doesn't really matter. I love you guys. Have an amazing, blessed day.